Hi, everybody. Hi. Sorry for the confusion. So thanks for being here. And I just wanted to welcome you all to my live stream. I am Sarah Grillo. And so I'm just going to, before I open it up for questions, the point of this live stream is to provide insight to people that might be looking for a job or maybe just are looking for business advice. So I'm just going to give some general guidelines about this, and then I'm going to, hi, Ipanema Wealth. Good morning. How are you? Good morning. Good morning. Hi. I'm just going to do a basic introduction. So I'm just going to give some general guidelines for how to behave in this crisis. So here are some things that I would just say. It's that one, stay positive. People will be impressed and even intrigued by a person who is able to stay positive despite all the negativity. And there is definitely a lot of negativity around. Like if you look at the news and you look at Twitter, everybody is an expert. And remember that fear is always going to get more attention than just normal, logical, non-panicking news. So, understand that there is an incentive for people to make you panic. And a lot of people are going to, in fact, be doing just that. So hi, everybody that's joining. I see the viewers are coming on now. Just try to help other people. Helping other people as much as you can is a good thing to do in general. And you just never know when you helping what may be viewed as like a random person can be helpful in some way in the future. For example, there's like instances of people that, I just speak with randomly that have expressed doing business with me, haven't been able to close the sale. But they've been so helpful to me because they've been grateful. Like, somebody like that kind of said she was interested in working with me, but hasn't worked with me yet, like was so nice that she took my stuff and like was forwarding it to her contacts recently. So, hey, everybody coming on. Hi, I am Sarah Grillo, and thank you so much for joining my chat. So I'm going to get to questions in a minute, but I'm just going over some guidelines for how to behave during a crisis. So understand that now is a time when people are looking for leaders, and the more that you can show a focus on doing good for other people, the better. People are really going to remember that. And if you act positively now, you just never know when that may pay dividends later. Like you just never know when people will remember it. People may not take action or do business with you right now, but definitely good leadership skills, positive action, willingness to help other people, those will go very far in the future, and it definitely cannot hurt. So don't be one of these like fear-mongering people that's just retweeting things from Twitter, like and trying to scare everybody. Like we've already heard all of the bad news. Okay. The other thing is try to just be positive yourself, like in your own life. Look at it as an opportunity to learn how to do new things. Like I myself know that I've been able to learn like things about other people and like, especially in my family, like, being quarantined with them, having to, hey, everybody joining, by the way, thanks for coming on. I've been able to look at it, like I've seen this as a chance to like be closer with family and learn more things about family that I haven't been able to do. Or like I've finally, I have 4 kids. I just had my last baby a year ago. I've been able to get back into working out, and I never would have had the opportunity to do that before. So that also is a great tip, like do something physical every day. It'll help you to enforce discipline, and it never hurts, to just get the endorphins flowing. So having said that, I'm really excited that all of you are here and really grateful for you spending some time with me. The purpose of this live stream is to serve you by giving you the information that you need to either get that job or develop business or whatever. So I just would be really happy to hear any questions. Please enter in your questions into the chat, and I'll just answer them one by one as they come up. So go ahead, please enter your questions in. I'm going to just pause and get a drink of water while you all enter your questions. Come on, fire them at me. Like this is, I want this to be a discussion. I don't just want to get on here and like lecture people, because if you just want lectures, I have lecture videos. Like my videos are all lectures on my channel. So, you know, give me an idea and I'll speak on it at length. Well, I have several questions. Okay, good. This is an important one, which may apply to financial advisors. Hi, thank you so much for this question. I love this question, Ipanema Wealth. Thank you. Okay, so I'll just wait while you're typing it in. Here it goes. Okay, I'm just waiting for it. Okay. Anybody else, please? I know that there's a few of you on here. Please just go ahead and enter in your questions. Hey, everybody. Hi, everybody who's recently joining. I am Sarah Grillo, and this is my live stream. I was speaking for a little bit and giving a lecture style live stream, but this really is for me to interact with you. I want this to be more webinar style. I'm here to serve you, so please enter in your questions. And the first question from Ipanema Wealth. I had the biggest prospect who was going to invest 3 separate categories of money this year, mainly in cash, over the last 3 years in different currencies. It was a game changer. Okay, I'm going to guess what you're going to say. Ipanema Wealth, while you enter the rest of your question, I'm just going to go on to Swetcha's question. Hi, Swetcha. By the way, okay, wait, hold on. So I'm going to go back to I'm just going to go back to Ipanema Wealth here for a minute. Swetcha, just let me answer Ipanema, okay? Now he has backed off completely and said the markets are going to get worse. Personally, I agree. Markets will fall more before stabilizing. Okay, so you have this huge client that wants to make a big investment. There are several smaller cases like that. That's a great question. So what do you do with that prospect that wanted to get into the market but is not going to want to get in? Okay, Swetcha, thank you. Did I say your name right? Swetcha, is that the right way to say your name? I'm so sorry. I really hope you can forgive me if I'm mispronouncing your name. I'm softly advising them to set up the portfolios and phase into markets over time, but they're not even wanting to set up. Okay, Ipanema Wealth. So here is the, so Ipanema Wealth's question is, just to reiterate it for everyone who's recently joining the stream, is basically Ipanema has these, this big client that wants to invest in 3 separate categories. Now they don't want to put the money to work. They're hesitant to get started given the market volatility. Right. Okay. And so Ipanema is trying to say, like, to convince the client to get started now, because it does take time to set it up and phase in gradually, et cetera. Okay. So Ipanema, well, this is a bigger issue of not being as much of a financial planner as you are being an investment manager. And so, you know, investment management business, I know, tends to be like maybe slightly more scalable because you make a fee for assets under management. But the downfall of it is that your livelihood as an asset manager does depend on factors that you really cannot control. So I would just say that if the client is just dead set against it, it sounds like they're pretty dead set against it and they're a big client. You know, keep in mind that a lot of times the things that got people to be successful and got them to have this money is the mindset that they're operating under, and they're going to be this way, you know, in you working with them as well. What you may want to try, Ipanema Wealth, is maybe just stop focusing on it, like the idea of putting the money to work. Okay, like I mean, it sounds like you're like this with them right now. So I would say any more that you kind of push your agenda of, I want to get this started, I want to lock in the account, all of that, I think that could have some pretty serious repercussions for the relationship, because people are extremely emotional right now. They have all kinds of questions. So like, stay in touch with them, stay close with them. Absolutely fortify that bond and fortify that relationship. Hi, Ruben. So Ruben is here, and you have a question. I'm getting to the questions. Just want you to know, I'm answering Ipanema Wealth first, and then everyone keep entering in your questions. I will go back and answer them, but I'm answering questions one at a time. So basically, what I wanted to say is, I would work on like the financial planning aspect of the relationship. I would work on it because that's a different aspect of it, right? Like, not just investment management, but what else can you possibly do for this client? I would sit down and brainstorm and think of 5 ways that you can still engage them, because at this point, if they're not going to invest, they're not going to invest. And if you're going to really try to like force the issue, you're going to damage the relationship. So I would just say, stay in touch with them, be the sounding board. Like, you definitely don't want them going to another investment manager right now. So you want to just make sure that your stuff is top notch, that you are giving them the best possible information, service, and attention, but don't harp on like, let's get it going. You know what I mean? It could mean like just constantly giving them checking calls. It could mean, giving them ideas, like maybe getting started on some ideas about their financial planning. They may be more likely to want to talk to you about financial planning if that's part of your business model. You see what I'm saying? But so I would say like, treat them like a client. Like, basically you could start including them on your client communications. Like, why not invite them to client webinars that you're having, if it's okay with you, include them on your client newsletter. Like, treat them like a client, even though they're not a client. And I think if you behave this way, then they'll say, oh, look, like, I really, appreciate and respect that this person was so attentive to me, despite how skittish I was being with them. Friends forever. Hi, thanks for joining. I would just say, treat them like a client. And even though they haven't invested the money, give them everything you possibly can, and just show a really healthy, positive attitude towards them. And you'll be surprised, because if they have confidence and they trust you because you've built the trust, even when they didn't invest, I think that will make them more likely to want to invest. Okay. So Ipanema, I'm actually going to go on to Swetch's question now. And I have other questions. Hey, everybody who's joining the live stream, thanks for saying hi. Just go ahead, say hi in the chat if you want. And please enter in your questions to the chat. I'm really intent on getting a lot of questions, really want to help people as much as I possibly can here. So if you could please enter in your questions, any question, big or small, folks, I really want to hear your questions. Okay, so Swetcha Chada, I'm finishing my PhD in corporate finance in 4 months. After that, I'm planning to write the CFA. What kinds of jobs are available in the industry for PhDs? What should be the preparation strategies? Thanks. Okay, so how do you get into the field of finance if you have a PhD? So these jobs are tend to be like more on the more intellectual, like strategic level. You're definitely not going to be doing too much like maintenance modeling. I think that it's a very good opportunity for someone with a PhD, given all of the craziness that's happening, if you could try to create some kind of a really profound, really deep, I like Swetcha, it's hard for me because I don't know what your background is. If you just say, PhD in corporate finance, what would the application be? What kinds of jobs would you want to get? What kinds of jobs are available in the industry? I don't know. I would say a PhD in corporate finance. It wouldn't just be budgeting, it would be more like corporate finance could be, maybe what you could do is, here's what you could do. Maybe you could start to produce really, by the way, everybody, thanks. I see people coming onto the chat. Thank you for joining. Really grateful everyone's here. Please answer your questions into the chat. I would just say, I would say the biggest thing, like someone with a heavy background in corporate finance as a PhD would be very adept right now at maybe talking about, like, maybe you could create like blogs and different thought pieces on the questions that people are having about corporate finance right now. Like, how do I handle severance pay? How do I model that out? How do I, like, best way for managing expenses in a crisis, best way for managing healthcare, all of these things, like how do employers, corporate finance, net present value of projects, how to best evaluate the net present value of projects in a crisis. I would start to be creating those kinds of thought pieces because those will be really helpful and useful in an interview. What I would do if I were you, Sweatshop, is I would start looking around at the kinds of like strategy, and I would say these are strategic type roles. I would just go start networking on LinkedIn and start just getting information, because it sounds like you just don't even know what the options are. The best thing to do for you would be to find out what your options may be and where your skills may be most useful. So to do that, I would just go and start connecting with people who are like heads of companies in finance, and like maybe start with small companies and just say, look, I'm a PhD. I was wondering what corporate finance issues might your company have, because I'm looking to just create content and create answers for people in this realm. And if you just go around, do surveys, like create surveys using SurveyMonkey. SurveyMonkey is free. And that's a great thing for all of you as well, like Ipanema Wealth, everybody else on this live stream. People really need to be listened to right now. So the more that you can survey people about what kind of information they may be wanting, really, the more successful you are going to be in answering their needs. And there is a desperate need for qualified help right now for people who are intelligent and can apply their skills. So I would say create a survey in SurveyMonkey and start sending it out to people after you kind of create a relationship with them. I would start interviewing CEOs and managers at these big companies and just connect with them on LinkedIn and just say, look, I'm getting my PhD, and one question I would have is, how could somebody with a PhD in corporate finance be useful to your organization? And just be like, I'm not trying to get a job here as much as I'm really just trying to understand what companies like this need at this point. And then respond with crisis-focused content, right? Like how to evaluate the net present value of a product, how to evaluate IRR, how do economic changes impact interest rates, and how does that impact your expense budgeting and your project? Like, how does that impact your ability to evaluate investments, return on investments, IRR calculations, all of this? You see what I'm saying? Like, use your skills, but match it up with the need that you see in the marketplace. It doesn't sound to me like the work in the marketplace, but LinkedIn is the best tool. People will connect with you for free. Just make sure you position yourself well, not as a job seeker, but someone who could possibly be a source of information and guidance and is looking to understand other people. Striving to understand, curious to understand is the best strategy at any point, but especially now where people are very hesitant, very risk averse, and are just scared. Understand the scared person is just general advice I would give to anybody, but especially in this situation where you're seeking a job. Ruben. Hi, Ruben, did I say your name right? It looks like Ruben. Yeah, it looks like I put the emphasis on the right part of the word, but I'm not sure. I'm sorry, Ruben. I work in a custody business at an investment bank. I have an internship in trading, and I understand financial markets. Recently, I finished a certification in financial modeling and evaluation analysts. Hi, friends forever. And I live financial markets and equity research, but I know without a CFA, it's difficult to get into front office or any financial markets direct related jobs. I also do some networking, even internally with the managing directors, I'm assuming that means. What can I do differently to get into front office, equity research, etc.? So Ruben, have you been watching my videos on equity research? Because I have a ton of videos on how to get into equity research. Have you seen all those videos, especially my recent ones? Yes, managing director, some, yes. Okay, I think you should go back and start watching all of my recent videos. By the way, for everybody who's on this live stream, I want more questions here. The more recent ones know, watch them. Okay, hold on. So welcome to everybody who's recently joined my live stream. I really would love it for more people to enter in questions to this. Okay, Ipanema, thank you for your questions. I want more questions on this live stream. I want everyone who's on this live stream to enter in a question. Okay, so what could I do differently to get into the front office? Ruben, the question is like, what are you doing in these networking meetings? First of all, you know my position on the CFA. It's not that I'm not, I love the CFA. I myself am a CFA charter holder, but I think you really need to get past what it says on your resume and what it says on paper. Coming across as a really helpful person who has great interpersonal skills and great drive will really separate you from a lot of the other CFA candidates. I've found that a lot of the CFA candidates, like a lot of the more kind of like bookish, intellectual, very numbers focused people tend to be exactly that. And they tend to not be as, I mean, this is a generalization, but generally the people who focus so much on their analytical skills often do so at the expense of the interpersonal aspect of it. So Ruben, my focus would be on showing leadership right now and taking initiative. And I know that the technical skills matter, but I think employers any day will take somebody with great initiative, great drive, and a great attitude who is good at getting along people, can really be a team player and be a leader. So I would say something like that. Like, I mean, if you want to get into the front office, like, what do you mean by the front office exactly? Do you want to get into trading? Do you want to get into investments? Like, you know what I mean? Hi, Xavier. Fund management may be taken over by AI in the future. Okay, hey, everybody. So I see more questions coming onto the chat. Thank you so much. Okay, so Ruben. Okay, so I'm waiting for your response here, Ruben, about what kind of a job do you want in equity research? Okay, so I don't know what you mean by front office or financial and markets related jobs. Like, I don't even know what that means. So just tell me that and I'm going to answer other people's questions in the meantime. Okay, Ruben? Oh, equity research essentially. Okay, so equity research, Ramon. Hi, Ramon. I'm hoping I said your name right. Hi, Ramon. Okay. Grateful everybody's here. I'm going to get to all of your questions. Thank you so much. So, Ruben, just to go back to your thing about equity research, like, I think that there is a great potential right now because I think there's going to be a lot of layoffs in equity research. So, I mean, if you said you have an internship, you work in custody at an investment bank, I would just improve your networking. I would improve your networking, but what I would do, Ruben, is I would start to really get into those. I would just really start to, if you want to get into equity research, you've got to show that you have expertise in equity research. And this is really hard to do, but at the same time, there's so much of a need for people who can actually think right now and who can see around corners and who can propose creative ideas and who can have really strong insights and that can get above the noise, because there's so much noise and garbage right now. There's so much noise and garbage right now in the news and in the markets. Okay, Ipanema, I see all your questions. I'm going to be getting to them. Thank you. Keep entering them in. I'm really happy when you enter in questions. Okay, so basically, Ruben, like, I think that you need to get some really good in-depth ideas going on about companies out there. And in my recent videos, I really would love you to please check out my recent videos, because I really go into great detail and I do screen shares and I demonstrate the tactics and the news sources and the sources of information that you would need to do to be able to use to be able to do this. But I basically think you need to just use your position. If you're in an investment bank, hello. I mean, do you know how many people would connect with you just because you work at the same investment bank? There's a ton of opportunity there. I mean, heck, even people that used to work at this investment bank would definitely still talk to you, even if they worked there 10 years ago. Sometimes the loyalty with alumni can be very strong, especially if they had a good experience, kind of a thing. So I would definitely just get out there, get on LinkedIn, start connecting with every single person who, I know my yay cap, I don't have it right now. Are you trying to say my hair looks bad today? Anyways, it does kind of look bad, I think, a little bit. But anyways, okay, so Ruben, like, I think you need to do a better job networking. I think you need to do a better job creating really unique and original ideas. Check out my video, how to get into equity research if you are broke AF. These are free ideas you can use. I think it would be great for you to come up with some original insights right now. So, okay, so I'm going to come back here and start going into other people's questions. Okay, Ipanema Wealth. I normally write a 1,000-word blog every month. Is now the time to produce bite-sized 300 to 500-word blogs on a weekly basis? People have more time now, right? No, what you could do is, I still think you should be producing that long-form content, Ipanema, because that is going to optimize well in the search. But what I think you should do is, I think you should be, the Google algorithm, from what I understand from the experts, is shifting. So search is now more focused on bite-size content pieces within longer pieces, because like the longer content is still going to get more visibility on Google. I don't think you should give that up. But what I think you should do is, I think you should be repurposing, like, first of all, within your 1,000-word blogs, I think you should be doing them more like question answer style, because if you do that, then that's what Google is doing. If you notice in Google search, like when you type in a question, it'll often like pull up a 2 to 3 sentence answer. I think you should be structuring it that way, because like keyword optimize your questions and responses so that they come up in Google, question and then 2 to 3 sentence answer. Get that pattern going within your longer blogs, because that'll help you to come up in search better. Is now the time to produce? Yeah, I wouldn't start producing the shorter form content. I would just say take those 1,000-word blogs, and I think you should just be repurposing them every single way you can. Like chop them up, put them onto LinkedIn, be posting them onto LinkedIn, get them out on your newsletter better, maybe make some more videos about it. Like one thing that does actually optimize really quickly is YouTube. So I would start taking like question answer format again, like take a question, create a 3-minute video on it, get it onto YouTube, and that's going to optimize way quicker, I believe, than in Google search. I don't know, I'm not Google, but that would be my advice and for SEO at this point. Xavier Venancios. Okay, so everybody, thank you so much for your questions. Really would love for you to just keep on here entering in your questions. Hi, Sarah, I'm an accounting professional and I'm currently unemployed in Dubai. Please suggest how to find a job. Okay, so Xavier, I just want to know, how do you think you can be useful to somebody or anybody in the world with your accounting skills? I think you first need to understand that, and that is your point of reference. I actually believe that being unemployed is not the worst position to be in right now, given that, I mean, it's unfortunate we have the virus going around, but to my knowledge, I don't know any country or any location in the world where the internet has been shut down as a result. So what I would do, Xavier, is I would start a business. If I were unemployed right now, this goes for anybody who's unemployed right now, I would start doing a independent freelance job. Like you can go on to like, freelancer websites, and I would just start to get gigs that way. That was actually how I started my business. What was it now? About 4 years ago, I started my business. And when I was first doing it, I started it on Fiverr, and I started getting like these freelance gigs using the internet. I think that's a great way to start, because what it does is it allows you to get a sense of what people may need actual work done on. Like it gives you a sense of what people actually need. And it also gives you a sense of what you're great at. Like, at first I started working with, like when I started freelancing, I started basically, there were 3 major areas I was working in. I was working in like helping real estate companies with their marketing, helping financial companies, and helping technology companies. The real estate stuff and actually the technology stuff took off a little bit more than the finance at first, which is really funny given my background. But that was due to like structural changes, like compliance changes that hadn't yet happened. Over this time frame, the internet and compliance has really opened up and become much more open to people publishing content on the internet. But like 4 or 5 years ago, that just was not the case. Now, the technology firms, like I don't really have a great expertise in that. And to be honest with you, it really is kind of random. I'm really not great with technology. Like I'm great with applications like social media, but I'm not great with like, what kind of a processor does this computer have? Like I'm totally lost about that stuff. But I was in that niche servicing those clients. And it gave me one thing that I just learned from that is like over time, it just became apparent, like this was not a great niche for me. So I would just say, use that as a sounding board. Like, I think you should just start approaching people on LinkedIn, and don't be one of these like desperate, awful people that is like, I can do this for you and I can do it cheap. And like, just don't be that person, because you'll have like a 0.5% success rate. It should be more like, you should just get an awesome LinkedIn profile, lots of value added content. Like if you see my profile, I've got lots of information there. I've got lots of like different blogs and always posting there. I'm very descriptive in exactly how I help people. And I think you should do that. You should just be like, I'm an outsourced accounting professional. I can help you with like, if you're having trouble, I mean, for example, a lot of places in the world, it's tax season, right? Like here in the US, it's tax season, right? So like, if you just need a little bit of tax support guidance, I can help you with that. If you are if you're you're laying off your payroll person, or if you're feeling, questions about how to do severance pay, I'm that person. Like, why don't you write a blog about how to handle severance? Why don't you, or how to like do computations for benefits, health benefits, like understand. Again, like, this is what I'm saying to everybody. It sounds like I'm saying the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. But the truth of the matter is that at the end of the day, you're dealing, yes, you are an accounting or a finance professional or investment banking or equity research or investment management, financial advisor, whatever you are. But at the end of the day, there's another person on the other side of the transaction. And so really you have to understand, okay, we are in a crisis right now. What are you seeing in your business is happening? What is happening in your business? Like, that should be the conversation, is what are you seeing? What is going on? Because everybody has a different kind of a situation, or if they don't, they feel like they do. Like, basically, a lot of people are in the same boat, but no one wants to be made to feel like that. Everybody wants to be made to feel like high attention paid to their specific like situation, So I would just be very focused on what business owners, local, maybe small businesses in your area, people that go into your network, right? And just be like, I'm offering accounting support. This is a very, very useful skill, but you may have to just do it on a contract basis at first. You're probably not going to land that big job right now, because I don't know too many people that are like going forth and really hiring. So I would just get a small business going, get a lot of small clients, make your living that way. And then you'll see, like, when the economy turns around, or maybe even when it doesn't, over time, the more that they trust you, they'll give you more responsibility. And just, you want to be that person that's just so full of information, ideas, energy, initiative, highly motivated, highly positive attitude, wants to help. This kind of attitude always, always, always in the long term is going to be useful to somebody. Always. Okay. Friends Forever, do you think fund management may be taken over by AI in the future? I think the non-value adding. Okay, so I'm seeing a lot more questions here, everybody. Thank you for your questions. Thank you for your questions, and I'm just getting to them one by one. So next question, and Raymond, thank you. Ramon, thank you so much for being here. I'm going to get to your question in a minute. Okay, you're the next question after Friends Forever. Friends Forever, do you think fund management may be taken over by AI in the future? I think non-value adding fund management is definitely going to be taken over by AI in the future. Yeah. If you're not adding alpha, if like fund managers that are just basically doing worse or equivalent to what an index is doing, why wouldn't that just be taken over if it could be done more cheaply and without human error? But do I think like the active managers, like, like the people who really are adding value and adding alpha, do I think that they will be taken over by AI in the future? Probably not. I have a whole video about that, but I'm curious, Friends Forever, why are you asking this question? Do you work in AI? Do you work in fintech? Let me know why. How else can I help you, Friends Forever? How is this information useful to you? Ramon, did I say your name right, Ramon? Hold on, let me just see. I can't even see the end of the chat. Okay, good. Lots of quick comments here. Thanks everybody for chatting today. AUM has dropped and business development has stalled. What topics will engage people, business, 401 plan, advisory, personal financial assessments? Ramon, why are you asking this question? Can you give me a little bit more background about, if you feel comfortable, like, what are you trying to do with it? Why are you trying to engage people? Are you trying to get a job? Are you trying to start a blog? And who are you trying to engage? You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to be flippant here, but it would really help me if I could understand your position a little bit better. I'm not leaving you, Ramon, but I also want to just come back to you with a better answer once you give me more information. So could you please enter in your information into the chat, and I'll come back to your question. Another question, I'm having more video calls with prospects and clients. I'm wearing a polo t-shirt. Any other fashion and video background tips? Because I have 4 kids and I'm like a mom and I work from home, I am just, by the way, like, you can see I'm really casual in my videos. I'll show up like a baseball cap. That's kind of my like very direct, kind of blunt style. If I were targeting though, ultra affluent people, I don't know that would work with everybody who was like that. I mean, I don't know. I have a feeling if I were a financial advisor, I would probably be targeting like kind of the same kinds of people because that's my personality. So I would just maybe kind of say that Ipanema Wealth, like a polo t-shirt. I think that that's okay. I think it's more like less than what you wear. I mean, I definitely think it would be weird for you to be wearing like a blazer, a suit and a blazer and a tie in your home. And given like how crazy everything is right now, thanks for the thumbs up, by the way, whoever gave me a thumbs up, thanks for being cool. I think it would be weird for you to be dressed up like you were at work on these calls. So I think a polo t-shirt is okay, but I think it's more just about like, how do you look? Like, what's your energy like? Does it look like it's a need? I mean, like what I have here, I haven't always had this background. Like if you see my other YouTube videos, you know, I have like a million kids and there's like pictures in my other videos of like that my kids drew. This is a way more professional background, I feel. What's more important in your video calls, Ipanema, is actually your audio quality. Like, so I have this blue Snowball Ice microphone. I bought it. I don't know, you might think the quality is not great on these calls, but it's a lot better than it used to be. This was just $50. And I would just say like, I care less about your appearance. It sounds like that's reasonably professional. I would care more about the audio quality. Like it's really annoying when people can't hear you on a call. I would say that. And the other thing is like, if you want to have, I mean, you're not going to like a professional YouTuber, like influencer type. So you don't have to have this whole background thing, but if you could get something, you know, just maybe having like a plain or professional background would be helpful too. Yeah, video background tips. I would just go for a plain wall or an office type style. Like I'd say like, it would be weird to have you like doing a conference call with people from like your bedroom. That might be a little weird. I wouldn't do that. Okay. By the way, okay. We are fee only RIA and not commission based, Ramon. Okay. Ramon, so you're asking, how do you engage? It sounds like business owners and people. If you're a fee only RIA, okay, did you enter in business development as fee only RIA with the book as declined in AUM? Okay, Ramon. So by the way, thank you so much for this question. I would just say that fee only RIA, can you possibly start to, I don't know how your fees, if you're fee only, I don't know how your ADV is set up, but are you structured so that you can work with people on an hourly basis? Because I think that would, like hourly or flat fee, one way you could really get a lot of people interested is, I think a lot of people are panicking that have been DIYing it. So what you could do really well is you could, if you can revise your fee model at all at this time, to start offering fees, like start offering services on an hourly basis or a flat fee basis so that you can target that person that just has a few questions or wants to know if they're okay and have someone to check them. And you just never know where those relationships will go. The thing that I would start doing is I would start having client webinars and inviting prospects to them. So this is going to do a few things. First of all, the more you can engage with your clients right now and deepen these relationships, the more you'll be viewed as a valuable relationship by the people who are paying you. So even though I get it, AUM has dropped, doesn't feel good for anybody, but you just don't want to lose clients. Like keeping those clients in the book is your number one priority at this time. So, I mean, I've seen financial advisors doing like 2 webinars a week. I wouldn't recommend that. I think that's a little excessive, but I would definitely go with at least 1 webinar a week, like weekly webinars for your clients, and just start inviting prospects to it. I mean, kind of like just what I'm doing now, like set up a Zoom call, a Zoom link, and just get your email software out and start inviting clients, inviting prospects. And at the time, just kind of like what I'm doing here, just be surveying people, be like, what are your problems? What can I answer for you? I don't know who you work with, but business owners, for example, like I would just start going to business owners on LinkedIn. I mean, okay, like I have a program, my membership. I can't get too into depth about how you would prospect with somebody over LinkedIn because this is an exclusive service that I offer. That is the only thing that I will not offer on this call because I do have members that are paying me for this information. But I have a membership. It's on my website. Right at the top, it's the blue button. Here, I'm going to go. That's my membership. That's at the top, the blue button, the blue top button at the top. And I would start to just approach people over LinkedIn, business owners. And it shouldn't necessarily be like, I want to manage your money right now. It could be just really useful. Like you could be so useful to business owners. You could be like, I wanted to have a webinar for your employees about how to, manage your finances, what to do with your 401k. Should you take a loan from your 401k? How to manage your 401k right now? What the equity markets are doing right now? Blah, 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 blah. Like there's so many topics that could be useful. Maybe even ask the business owner, be like, what do you think financially is something that your employees are worried most about right now? Oh, well, I just had to cut my health care benefits, or, oh, I just had to lay people off. Like, why not go to businesses and just be like, I want to have a webinar for everybody you've laid off. I'm having a webinar for people who were recently laid off. Do you have any employees that you recently laid off? They cannot tell you the employees' names, but you could be like, here's this link. I'm having this call tomorrow. And can you just send it to the person so they can sign up for the webinar? Like that's an example of creativity and thinking out the box and just doing every single thing you can to be useful, especially where you're targeting businesses. It should just be like, go to a business owner and just say, how can I help you help your employees? How can I help you help your clients? A good business owner who's resourceful is going to have something to say back. And now you're like, you may not be able to be so targeted right now. Like, here's your 401k advice. Like you may just have to be a general like helper right now to people that are qualified and have money. And you would be really surprised at how far that actually will go. Okay, accounts receivable and payables management, reconciliation, bookkeeping, accounts finalization for Xavier. Yeah, like I said, Xavier, you heard my business idea for you, right? Get all those out there, right? Like what are specific, I mean, create a little website, create a great LinkedIn profile, maybe do a free website, like go to Wix, get a domain, whatever, like be that person, okay? Okay, Ruben. I was recently in a recruitment process at another IB for equity research. They contacted me because, back to Ruben, I'm getting to other people's questions soon. They contacted me because they liked my equity analysis. I do it in my spare time, but they gave me an offer job for a candidate who passed the CFA. I will watch your most recent. I don't know. Okay, Ruben, I just want to say something. If they told you that it was because the other person recently passed the CFA, I'm sorry, but I think that's BS. I think what happened was there was something else within the process that you failed to convey to them that made them feel that they needed the CFA passer candidate more than you. Okay, so it's like I don't want to emphasize the CFA too much because it's really not the CFA because the person is still not a CFA charter holder yet. And by the way, level 2 is the hardest level to get past, the last I checked. I think it's more, there was something else. This is a key thing to remember about sales. There's never one reason for something. Like, just like there's never one reason you lost a client. Like, whenever I've lost a client, it's like, well, there was this main reason, but then there was like that, and that, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, just like there are numerous reasons when people hire you, there are numerous reasons when people fire you or they pass you over. So Ruben, I really don't want you to focus on the CFA as much. The CFA takes a long time to get for most people and it's expensive and you may not be you can't even take the CFA exam right now, right? It's postponed. So it's just not a viable option even for many people who want to get results in the short term. But improving your marketability is. Okay, Ipanema Wealth. Oh, Ipanema. About the AI question, my opinion, I think will AI take over fund management? This is Ipanema's opinion. I think it may affect some of fund management business, but so much is based on qualitative variables. Interesting, especially in small, mid caps and alternative and PE space. Interesting. Okay. Your top 3 books for fundamental analysis and equity research. I am not a good. Hi Max. I'm not a good person to ask about books. I really don't read books, but I can just tell you, I would start Max Zarkishu. Hi Max. Max, I would start following the following people. I would follow Stock Cat. Well, Stock Cats, I don't know. Like originally I thought Stock Cats was pretty interesting. I think they do post some interesting stuff. They're kind of satirical sometimes. They have this kind of like humorous aspect of things, but I don't know that they're like the top information source. Next, what I would do is I would start following Ray Dalio. I would start following Bill Ackman. I would just go and start following every single big hedge fund manager, private equity manager, big investment manager who is on Twitter. A lot of them are just really giving away awesome advice and awesome insights. And, you really want to understand. I mean, like if you want to understand equity research, go to Seeking Alpha, seekingalpha.com. Okay. That's a great website. Jonathan Park, good morning. Hi, Jonathan. Thank you for your nice compliment. By the way, I would love for all of you to subscribe to my channel. It's really helpful for you to be here with me because I'm learning about what other people care about and what they're worried about right now. So thank you. It's invaluable to me. I would love for you to stay here subscribed and subscribe to my channel. Okay, Max. So what I would say is that, seekingalpha.com, I like. Go to Twitter and just start following, but not like the junk stuff. And I like, as much as I love Stock Cats, I know they like to joke around, but sometimes I feel like Stock Cats is like not that useful. But people like that, like there are a lot of really experienced analysts that are on Twitter and you can learn so much about what they're posting and the information they're looking at. Like, I'm not a big fan of reading books. I don't read books anymore. I have 4 kids. I don't have time to sit down and read a book. But what I do really well is I look at the influencers and the people who are really insightful in any particular subject matter, like the hedge fund managers, the people that earn like $500 million a year are on Twitter talking about hedge fund stuff. Like, this is great. This is great stuff to follow. Not always. Sometimes they do have their own kind of like political agenda or business agenda, but you got to learn to be the judge of that for yourself. Jonathan Park. Oh, thank you. I'm happy to help everybody. I have an equity research analyst internal mobility interview tomorrow. I prepared everything I could. Okay, Jonathan, but Jonathan, have you seen my recent videos about how to prepare for an equity research interview? Have to leave. Okay. Ipanema Wealth. Thank you. Thank you for joining Ipanema Wealth. Really appreciate you being here. Okay, Jonathan Park. So equity research analyst interview, you prepared everything you could. I mean, I don't know about that. You know what I'm saying? Thanks for the thumbs up. Whoever just gave me a thumbs up. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for being here. How prepared are you? Like there's, okay. And thanks for your hugs from Rio de Janeiro. Thank you. Can I like this? How do I like? That's annoying. Like you can only like report and remove comments. You can't like. How can I like this comment? That's annoying. I want to like your comment, Ipanema. Phooey. Weird. Okay. Anyways, so Jonathan Park, like, have you been practicing using my interview video? I have an interview video where I actually ask people questions and it goes through a mock interview. Have you been doing that? Have you been watching all of my recent videos, Jonathan Park? Let me know. Okay, I think I got everybody's questions. I'm not sure. Can you even believe we've been on this live stream for like an hour? More questions. I want to know more questions. Hi, everybody who's joined. Thank you. I am Sarah Grillo. I'm in the middle of my live stream here. Enter in your questions to the chat. We'd love to have your questions. Now, one thing I just want to say is in this time of a lot of fear, just try to remain as positive as you can. Like for me, I follow the military. I like trust the military. Okay, thanks, Ruben. I love the military. So like for me, following the military is really useful. Let me ask you, for everyone who's on this chat, can I just ask you a question? I have to leave now. Thank you and stay safe. Okay. Would it be useful? I mean, I have a membership for people who are financial advisors that want to learn more about prospecting, and it's like $35 a month, and they get kind of like what we get here. Like you get group advice, like they get a webinar and they get videos that are private videos exclusive content, in other words. Do you think that would be useful for you? Like a Sarah Grillo membership for people who are getting into equity research? Like, would that kind of a thing be useful? Like equity research interview techniques? Would an equity research interview members group be useful? Would people actually pay for that? I really want to know. For those of you who are on the chat, could you tell me, like, would you be willing to pay if you were looking to get a job, right? Would you be able to pay like 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35 bucks a month to be part of an exclusive group where you could ask me job search questions and you could get like job search advice in a group format, like over, well, let's say it was like weekly webinars. Like, let's say I had a weekly group call. Would you pay like 35 bucks a month for that? I want to know. I'm watching from Hungary. I used to do all of the, I used to think all of the New Yorkers were a bit arrogant and straight to the point. Thanks for crushing my stereotypes. Keep it up. Max, thank you. How are you doing, by the way? So, Max, I feel like I am very straight to the point. You get that from me, right? You get that impression of me probably, right? But I am like a mother, and that's maybe a lot more sensitive. I think before being a mother, I was maybe not as sensitive. But I've definitely been like humbled by a few things in life. So actually, like if you had known me when I was at Lehman Brothers, I was really like kind of a jerk, to be honest with you. I don't think I was really like that good a person, but I was younger too, you know, like, and I'm not saying younger people are jerks, but it was just like, I didn't have the life experiences and have been humbled and been through a lot of things I've been through, but thank you. But would anybody, like, I just really want to know an answer to my question. And it's that, would any of you pay? Like, I'm not asking any of you specifically, but I'm just want to know, like, would it be the kind of things people would pay for if you're unemployed and you're looking for a job, for you to pay like 25 or 30 or 35 bucks a month to be part of this like job seekers membership where I provide weekly live streams, let's say over YouTube, a weekly live stream, and you could be, and you could like get job search advice and talk to me directly for 35 bucks a month. Would that be helpful? Would people pay for that? It's okay if you're going to say no, because I want to know this. Like, I don't think I can put weekly attention into YouTube, like live streams on an ongoing basis like this. But if it were part of a business model, then I probably could, because if it's like something I, am as part of my business, then I probably could. So I just want to know, would that be something that people would actually pay for? Like, I'm going to assume no if people don't answer. Anyways, okay, so 5 minutes left in the chat. Please enter in any questions. And if not, then I'm going to end the chat now. I would like attention. I will be ending the chat now if I do not get questions here on the chat. It's interesting. There's a little arrow that appears. I didn't know that. All right. Well, I hope everyone will like subscribe to my channel, and I really appreciate you all being on the chat. Maybe going to have another one at some point, but I appreciate all of you following me on YouTube. I hope you'll subscribe and keep watching my videos and send them to a lot of people. And thanks for being here. I'm ending the chat now. Bye, everybody.